Alright, welcome to today's screencast. We're going to be looking at the request for quote module for Sales Igniter, where we integrate Amnesty request for quote and hide price module with our module. We do sell this as an add-on, the integration. So we're going to start off by looking at the settings, and the settings will appear under Amnesty, and then you click on either the hide price or request for quote. So those modules are bundled together. You can decide if you want to hide the price for your product or not, and of course if you want to add the request for quote button. Those can be configured in different ways. We'll just briefly look at the hide price part. You just want to make sure it's enabled. You can decide if you want to hide it for only certain customer groups, and you can decide if you want to hide the price for certain product categories. So it's a fairly quick and easy setup. And the request for quote, that's similar as well. You'll have the same type of settings. You want to make sure it's enabled. You can decide if you want to show the add to quote button on the product page, the category page, and what categories it's enabled for. So let's look at this from the customer side, and I'll go ahead and go to one of the products where we have hide price enabled as well as request for quote. So I'll just select some rental dates. Notice there's no price showing, though usually there would be. And then I'll add it to my quote. And then I'll go and look at my quote cart. All right, we'll go ahead and submit the quote. Okay, so the quote request is received. Now we'll go to the back end. This appears under sales quotes. And we'll look at what we can do there. Okay, so we have this new quote that came in that I just submitted, and we'll go ahead and view it. And by default, the price for that rental period will show here. That can be edited, so we'll edit the quote. So then if I wanted to change the rental dates, I could do so. If I wanted to override the default auto-calculated price, I could set that here. We could also do an overall quote discount, which will show the customer. In some industries, it's common to do that. And so let's go ahead and update it. Okay, and we'll submit it or save it. Okay, so that's saved. Then we can approve it. All right, so now the customer, if they wanted to, they would get the email, they could log into their account and place the order for that quote that they sent in. We want to show a couple things that we did add to the extension, and that's where you can reserve inventory for a quote. You might want to reserve your rental inventory for that quote. And you can also skip rental stock checks on the customer side. So the customer could rent it even if there wasn't inventory for it. So after that, what you could do, if your customer didn't place the order but you wanted to place it for them, you can convert it to an order. So that's going to open up the usual create order page, and then you can save it as an order. So that way, if you haven't already, the stock will be reserved. You can submit their payment details under the payment method area, and also do the shipping check, and then submit an order for your customer. So that's just how you would convert a request for quote into an order. One other little thing I wanted to show was how we've integrated the rental request for quotes into our inventory calendar. So if you go to the rental inventory report area, and I already opened that tab, so I'll go jump over there. And we have the MacBook, which we reserved inventory for our request for quote. So if you click on the day where it's reserved, you'll be able to differentiate right here how much was reserved for a request for quotes versus how many were reserved for orders. So that might be a good way to differentiate between the two. So that about does it for a short screencast for our request for quote integration. If you have more questions, please go ahead and contact us. Please check out our other videos on the YouTube channel or on our website. Thank you.